Imagine this. It's the middle of winter. You're in Germany. The temperature outside, freezing. You turn on the heater, but nothing happens. Gas shortages, blackouts, factories shutting down. And why? Because Moscow turned off the tap. For decades, Europe has depended on Russian energy. Cheap, reliable, always flowing. But now, that era is over. So the real question is, can Europe truly escape Russia's grip? Or is it already too late? Let's break it down. This energy war, it didn't start in 2022. It's been decades in the making. After the Cold War, Europe made a choice. Depend on Russian gas. Why? Because it was cheap, it was abundant, and it seemed reliable. Pipelines like Nord Stream 1 pumped billions of cubic meters of gas straight into Germany, France, and Italy. By 2021, 40% of Europe's gas came from Russia. But here's what people didn't realize. Cheap gas wasn't just business. It was leverage, a tool of power. And when war broke out in Ukraine, Russia weaponized it. Moscow didn't just sell gas. It made Europe addicted to it. For decades, European leaders ignored the warnings. They let their industries, their homes, their economies all rely on Russian fuel. And then the war started, and everything changed. February 2022. Russia invades Ukraine, sanctions hit, Europe cuts ties with Moscow. Western leaders promise, we will end Russian energy dependence. But then, Putin fights back. Gas flows plummet, energy prices skyrocket. Factories in Germany shut down, inflation explodes, electricity bills triple. France and the UK forced to restart coal plants, undoing years of climate policies. And worst of all, ordinary people suffer the most. Families in Poland, in Spain, in Italy, forced to choose between heating their homes or putting food on the table. Governments scramble for solutions, subsidies, rationing, emergency imports. But here's the shocking truth. Even after all this pain, all this chaos, Europe still can't fully escape Russian energy. And Moscow, they're not losing. Because while Europe struggles, Russia finds new customers. Europe thought cutting off Russian gas would cripple Moscow, that without European buyers, Russia's energy empire would collapse. But Russia, they were one step ahead. New pipelines, new deals, new buyers, China, India, Turkey. They didn't cut off Russia, they took advantage. Beijing and New Delhi started buying Russian oil and gas at discounts, paying less while keeping Moscow's economy afloat. And here's the most ironic part. Some of this Russian oil, it still ends up in Europe, just rebranded through third countries. So let's ask the real question. Did Europe's sanctions even work? Or did they just push Russia into stronger alliances with its eastern partners? And if Russia still earns hundreds of billions from energy exports, who's really winning? Europe isn't just sitting still. They're desperate to escape Russia's grip. They're trying everything. LNG imports from the US and Qatar, massive wind and solar expansion, nuclear power restarts, and yes, Germany even built new LNG terminals in record time. But here's the problem. None of it is enough. LNG more expensive than Russian gas. Renewables, not reliable in winter. Nuclear takes years to build. And let's not forget, France's nuclear fleet had major outages. Germany shut down reactors before the war. Europe made itself vulnerable, long before the crisis even started. And now, they're paying the price. Which leads to the big question, can Europe truly survive without Russian energy? Or will they be forced to go back despite everything? So what's next? Scenario 1. Europe adapts. They invest in nuclear. They expand renewables. They find new suppliers. Over time, they cut Russia out completely. Scenario 2. Russia regains control. A harsh winter, an economic recession. European industries start failing. And then, Europe is forced to crawl back to Moscow. Secret negotiations, quiet gas deals. Russia wins. Scenario 3. A new global energy war. As Europe fights for new energy sources, Global prices skyrocket. China and India tighten their grip on Russian supply. The Middle East steps in, but at a price. And the world? The world plunges into a new energy conflict. So the real question is, who will win this energy war? And who will be left in the dark? This isn't just about energy, it's about power. It's about control. And right now, the world is standing at a crossroads. If Europe succeeds, Russia's influence shrinks. If Europe fails, Moscow tightens its grip, not just on energy, but on global politics. And one thing is certain. This war isn't over. So what do you think? Will Europe truly break free? Or will Russia pull them back in, just like before? Drop a comment below, because this fight is just beginning.